Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you all. Welcome to the third webinar of the Muslims in Britain Research Group at Liverpool Hope University. I am Salman Al-Azami, the convener of this research group, which draws on cross-disciplinary research working collaboratively on various issues related to the challenges faced by British Muslims in 21st century Britain. The main of this group is to develop and share new ideas of research in this field, increase interdisciplinary research, identify areas of collaborative research, organize research seminars and conferences, and develop partnerships with major Muslim community organizations. Although we are based in Liverpool Hope University, our research group includes academics and postgraduate students in various disciplines and across different universities. Currently, our membership includes colleagues from Liverpool, Liverpool John Moores, Manchester, and Cardiff universities. In the globalized world we live in today, where there is a high demand for information sharing that goes beyond the remit of one institution in a nation state, we have decided to make all our events online so that we can reach people around the world who would be interested to listen to our talks and events. We intend to organize research webinars, roundtables, and interviews online and later upload them on our YouTube channel for people to access in their own time. We would appreciate moral support and constructive advice from our live and YouTube audiences. Please use the Q&A option here to post, comment, and ask questions. I'll go through them after the talk and our guest will answer as many questions as possible. Let us now focus on our talk today. The title of today's webinar is Ottoman Consuls in Manchester and Liverpool and their relations with the Liverpool Muslims. Our guest speaker is Mr. Mohammad Hassanov, a PhD candidate at Liverpool John Moores University. His research focuses on the Ottoman political presence in northwest England during the 19th and 20th centuries, specifically exploring Ottoman Consuls' interactions with the Liverpool Muslim community and their intelligence activities related to Armenian affairs in Liverpool and Manchester. Without further ado, I would now like to invite our guest speaker to begin his presentation. Yes, Hassan.
First of all, Dr. Salman, thank you for your invitation. And thanks also to all valuable audience who came here tonight and who allocate their time. So before, as you have explained it myself, I just want to tell briefly, my name is Mohammed and I'm doing PhD on diplomatic history. And tonight we will gonna explore together one of my PhD chapters. My full PhD is about Ottoman Consuls in Liverpool, Manchester, and their political transformation. And my chapter particularly gonna be about the Ottoman Consuls and their relation with the Abdullah Quilliam, with the Liverpool Muslims, and Pan-Islamism. So I'm sharing it. Just 1 second. Does it show?
Yes, we can see that.
Okay. So before starting with the Ottoman Consuls' relation with the Liverpool Muslims, I want to give a little background and just briefly mention on the British-Ottoman relations. So first of all, we have to know that the Ottoman-British relations is deep-rooted relation and is mainly based on commercial interests between both countries. So accordingly, in 1579, the Queen Elizabeth sent an ambassador, William Harborne, to Ottoman Empire, and by the establishment of British Embassy in Istanbul, the relations has started. So, but we know that until 19th century, from the Ottoman side, there wasn't any permanent ambassadors or any permanent consuls. However, beginning from the 19th century, with the because the Britons start to industrialize, start to have a cotton, start to industrialize and start to establish cotton factories in Manchester. And by doing this, we see that the bilateral relations between both countries started to increase. In this regard, in May 1810, the Ottomans, they have appointed their first consul in Liverpool, who was a Lewis Mosley. He was a Jewish merchant, and for 35 years he represented the Ottoman Empire in Liverpool. And as you can see on the left side in the map, I have found this from the Ottoman archives. Can you see the arrow, by the way, Dr. Salman?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Okay, this is Liverpool and this is the Manchester. So basically, the Ottomans, they have established consulates in both cities. Even if you go across the map, if you look about in places like Cardiff or London or Birmingham or Sheffield, there are Ottoman consulates as early as 1850s. I'm talking about. So what this map actually shows us that by the time in 1850s, there was a good Ottoman representation, and like the Ottoman consular network across the island. And also we have to remember that between Ottoman Empire and the Britain, there was a treaty, a Bartholomew Treaty, which give way for boosting relations between countries, because by this treaty, internal customs were lifted for both countries. I just wanted to show you another interesting picture that has been discovered just recently. So basically, this picture is painted in Liverpool. This building is famous Liverpool Exchange building. Right now it has been demolished. However, as you can see among those figures, there is one eccentric figure, which is just on the left side. As you can see, he's with the Ottoman costumes. Probably he was a merchant, maybe from Istanbul or from Egypt. We don't know, but he was definitely Istanbul, from the Ottoman Empire somewhere. And this painting was painted in 1832. And as you can see, he was speaking with the other merchants. So what is important about this picture is the Liverpool Exchange building was built for cotton merchants. So most of those people actually were we seeing are cotton merchants, and those were the cotton merchants' offices. So it shows that the interaction between the Ottomans and the Englishmen in Liverpool based on the cotton. So just on briefly, I have to say that what was happening, the Ottomans were taking the raw cotton from Syria. They were taking it, and by ships, they were exporting to Liverpool, and from Liverpool, those cotton dealers, they were transferring it to Manchester, where it was produced again, and it was sold back as a manufactured cotton. So, however, our topic today is not about more than the commerce. It's about the Pan-Islamism and how this Pan-Islamism have affected the functioning of the Ottoman consulates. So basically, the Ottoman Empire, by the end of the 19th century, was weak empire, unfortunately. Economically and politically, it was destabilized. It was disintegrated. Sorry about that. And we see that the Ottoman Sultan Abdulhamid II, after he came to the throne, he decided to adopt pan-Islamism. The main reason of this was to consolidate the internal integrity of the empire. However, my main argument in my thesis that is pan-Islamism was not a conscious or planned state policy, and it was rather than a planned conscious proper policy. It was more like individual attempts of some of the Ottoman statesmen, like the Sultan himself and people around him. And we're gonna see that the Ottoman consuls in Liverpool and Manchester were not necessarily sharing the same ideas with their ruler. And this policy, this pan-Islamism, as I said, it means to unifying all the Muslims together, helped the Ottoman Sultan to gain visibility in the public atmosphere. So I want to start with the interaction between the Ottoman consuls and between the Ottoman consuls and Liverpool Muslim Institute. So basically, Abdullah Quilliam, who was Abdullah Quilliam? He was a British lawyer who born and raised in Liverpool, and also he was from Island of Man originated. And we know that during his visit for a health reason to Morocco in 1884, at the beginning of 1884, he accepted to Islam. And after that, with his connections, he established Liverpool Muslim Institute in 1887. And also we know that shortly after establishing the institute, he realized that he wanted to gain a legitimacy in front of the people. And the best way was to gain legitimacy was gaining the support of the Ottoman Empire, Ottoman Sultan, who was also the representative of all the Muslims. So therefore, what Abdullah Quilliam has done, he started to write articles in Liverpool journals and magazines and newspapers, defending the Ottoman Empire against the current Armenian, because back the time there was Armenian questions. So basically, the British press was accusing the Ottoman Sultan and the Ottoman Empire about that there was that the Ottomans were doing pressure against the Armenians, and they were doing a so-called genocide. However, these attempts done by Abdullah Quilliam took the attention of the Ottoman Sultan, and he invited him as his special guest to Istanbul. And we know that in 1891, it was actually a turning point, because during his visit to Istanbul, he had chance to speak with the other Ottoman statesmen, and he had chance to exchange views with those people. And after returning back from the Istanbul, we just see a completely different Abdullah Quilliam, in terms of he become much more enterprising. So he established periodicals, which was the Crescent, a newspaper on a weekly basis. He started to publish Islamic World, a journal, on a monthly basis, and Liverpool and a newspaper called The Liver. So also during his visit, he was advised by one of the advisors that he need to build a school for Muslims, and that's why he established Liverpool Muslim College, which is the first Muslim school in the country. Also, we know that this wouldn't be his last visit. He visited more than 5 times during his time in Liverpool until 1908. And we also know that Sultan Abdulhamid II has promoted his son. He given him the titles and the Sultan Abdulhamid. Sorry about that. Abdullah Quilliam's son, Ahmet Quilliam, on the expense of the Sultan, managed to study in Galatasaray High School in Istanbul, and also he worked after graduating from there. He worked in Ottoman Consulate at Liverpool as a chancellor. After that, he became vice consul, so on and so forth. We know that Abdullah Quilliam had an intense relationship with the Ottomans, and he also welcomed all the Ottoman consuls. They were visiting the mosque. They were visiting the Abdullah Quilliam's private residence, which is in Fairwell Crescent. It's just in the Newsham Park, if you know about Liverpool. So also, Quilliam has given all the Ottoman consuls who were functioning in Liverpool the title of Vice Honorary President of Liverpool Muslim Institute. By those titles, we should know that they were more ceremonial titles rather than a paid job or something like that. I just wanted to show you another thing. This is the only picture that has been identified. Is the internal. This is showing the interiority of Abdullah Quilliam's house. Can you see the candlesticks? Those candlesticks were given by the Sultan. They were fully to Sultan Abdul Hamid, to the Quilliam, and they are fully covered with the silver, and it's quite expensive, I think, because I've discovered that it costs around £150 back the time without inflation. So right now I just want to talk about some key members, key figures, the key Ottoman consuls who contacted with the Abdullah Quilliam. So the first one was Ismail Lutfi Bey. Ismail Lutfi Bey, and we know about him that he was the first Muslim consuls who have ever been in Liverpool, and he gave quite comprehensive. He wrote quite comprehensive reports about Quilliam and about the Liverpool Muslim Institute, and they had a personal relationship with the Quilliam even after he left Liverpool and he was appointed to other parts of the world as a consul general. But despite that, he didn't actively involve with the Liverpool Muslim Institute because he didn't want to appear on the local newspapers as a Ottoman consul who preaching Islam on the normal people. So basically, he was aware of that he has a official status, and the official status doesn't necessarily mean to have a religious duties. Another Ottoman consul that I want to mention is Emin Bey. Emin Bey, is important example because it's showing that the Ottoman consuls, they didn't have a one-dimensional approach about Quilliam and about the Liverpool Muslim Institute. So during his term as a consul general, we can see that Emin Bey was quite critical about Abdullah Quilliam and about the Liverpool Muslim Institute generally. The reason, I can't tell you about the exact reason of that, but Quilliam Emin Bey, generally speaking, he was critical about the pan-Islamism. Even in his later appointments to Batavia or to Bombay as an Ottoman consul general, he was frequently complained by the local Muslims to the Sultan on the grounds that he's discouraging intrigues in favor of pan-Islamism. We know that I have just identified only one report that he was written about the Quilliam, and it was very critical, because can you see the mosque below? So basically, this was the mosque that Quilliam wanted to establish. However, this mosque cost around £6,000 in 1895. I have calculated it's around £2-3 million nowadays. So, and Quilliam wanted this money from Istanbul, from the Ottoman Sultan. And Emin Bey, in his report, he was saying that the Ottoman officials should be aware of Quilliam because he liked to execrate the things. And he said that despite there is a mosque in Liverpool, no one is coming to pray. He described Liverpool Muslim Institute as a bunch of women who have a low moral character, and also he accused Quilliam as a hypocrite, because he's saying that despite he present himself as Abdullah Quilliam, on his private to English people, he present himself as a William Henry Quilliam. So by saying this, he said he tried to accuse him by hypocrisy. I haven't found any reply of Emin Bey's report, but apparently the Ottoman Sultan was aware of that, and Quilliam, despite he was promoted by the titles or by the orders, he wasn't given with the amount of money that he asked for the Liverpool mosque. Another key figure that I want to take your attention is Mehmet Kamil Bey. Mehmet Kamil Bey is important figure because right now there are too many PhD theses, master theses written about him. But people generally know about him, his activities in Batavia. Batavia is nowadays Jakarta. But Jakarta formerly was called as Batavia. So basically, when he was in Indonesia, in Batavia, as consul general, he within 1 year he just interacted very closely with the Ottoman, with the Muslims, and by doing this, by the way, I do apologize. Just I have to. Can you see it?
The PowerPoint is gone.
Okay. Just 1 second?
Okay.
Okay. I just gonna share my screen again.
Okay. Yeah, we can see.
Okay. So Mehmet Kamil Bey was another important figure, and he was dismissed by the Netherlands. He was dismissed by the colonial authorities in Indonesia because of his pan-Islamistic activities. He sent local Muslim children to Istanbul to study and other stuff. So after his dismissal, he was appointed to Liverpool, and we see him that he interacted with the Quilliam and with his family during his tenure. Ahmed Quilliam became Chancellor in Liverpool Consulate. And during this time, we see that the Sultan's birthdays and accession to the throne were start to be actively celebrated in the Ottoman Consulate. So those kind of celebrations, we need to see them as as events that helped to increase the Sultan's visibility. So basically, those kind of events are important for the Ottoman authorities in order to show that, in order to gain legitimacy in front of the British public. So, and he also helped Quilliam to issue his legal marriage. So basically, Quilliam was a polygamist. He had 2 wives, and his second wife, as you know, in the British law, still is the same. You can't get married with the second wife. Like your second wife actually is illegitimate. So that's why Quilliam asked from Mehmet Kamil Bey to issue Ottoman marriage certificate. And Mehmet Kamil Bey, despite he was knowing that he had right only to do this for Ottoman citizens, and Quilliam himself was a British citizen, just for the sake of soft power, he issued a marriage certificate to Quilliam. Another thing that is important, I just gonna tell you. Can you see the cemetery? This is
Yes.
basically Liverpool necropolis. It has been established in 1826. It's one of the first private cemeteries in the country, and it's a non-conformist cemetery. Non-conformist, what it means? It means that people who doesn't belong to the Church of England. So this is the nowadays become park, and inside of this park, somewhere around here, there are 29 Ottoman soldiers who came during the Crimean War. For 1 year, they stayed in Liverpool, and as a result of the tuberculosis, they have died. They have lost their lives, and the Ottoman officials, they have purchased plot of land for them, and they buried here. So Mehmet Kamil Bey, during his tenure in 1899, the cemetery was closed. So Mehmet Kamil Bey find as a good opportunity to establish a Muslim cemetery, and he wrote a long, detailed report to Ottoman Sultan, and he said that we have to, if we set up a cemetery in Liverpool, a Muslim cemetery, we will basically, he said that we're gonna kill in one stone 2 birds. First, we will protect the remaining parts of our soldiers, and also by opening this new cemetery to the other Muslims, we were gonna reinforce our image against the image against the Muslims across the world who came to Liverpool to visit. But unfortunately, his desire has never ever come to the truth, because the Liverpool City Council rejected his proposal on the grounds that they can't take out the remaining parts, and after that he had to leave the Liverpool, so this never has come true. But still, around here we know that there are Muslim graves. So another figure that is important is Logodes Bey. Logodes Bey, he was a Christian. He wasn't Ottoman. He was Ottoman, but he was Ottoman Christian. He wasn't Muslim. And we know that he wasn't welcomed by the Liverpool Muslims, and purely on the grounds of religion. And there had been serious disputes with the Logodes Bey and with the Liverpool community. And actually, Abdullah Quilliam was the main reason of Logodes Bey's dismissal. When Quilliam was in Istanbul, he just said to the Sultan that he needs to appoint someone who is a Muslim, which can represent much better than Logodes Bey, and that's why Logodes Bey was replaced by Mustafa Enver Bey. We're coming towards the end because those years are the last years of the Liverpool Muslim Institute as well, because of the fact that Quilliam started to be criticized by the local people, by the local press regarding to his professional career as a lawyer. And during this time, Mustafa Enver Bey was in Liverpool. He adopted much more pragmatic relationship with the Quilliam himself, and we know that during this time the consulate was a little bit weird. He was as a consul, he was in a little bit like in a weird situation because there was an honorary consul general who was Ahmed Quilliam, and this never happened before to having two consul generals in one consulate. But despite all that background, he managed to have a pragmatic relationship with the Liverpool Muslim Institute, and we know that he's the only consul who led prayers in Liverpool Mosque on the special days. And also, I want to show this is the only picture that has been identified. The picture that has been taken by Quilliam and Ottoman Consul together. Here is the Mustafa Enver Bey, and as you can see, Abdullah Quilliam, and around the couple are the Ottoman immigrants who were going to America. We need to know that during these times in 1905, 1906, there was a huge immigration from the Ottoman Empire to the America. It was a mainly economic based immigration. Therefore, the Liverpool Muslim Institute actually was living its heyday. Those Ottoman people who were mainly Muslims, they were coming to the mosque, they were praying, they were doing one of them was imam, others they doing acting as a muezzin, and we know that there were around between 30 and 40 Ottoman Turks during this time in 1905. And there's another figure, this is the Sayyid Mahmud Bey. He was imam for 1 year between 1905 1906 in Liverpool Mosque, and he was a former Ottoman vice consul in Mumbai as well. So I also want to give just a brief explanation on Ottoman consuls in Manchester and their relationship with Liverpool Muslims. So, in very briefly, the person who you see on the right, his name is Mustafa Karsa. He's the Ottoman honorary consul at Manchester. There's not much that we know about him, but we know that he was a personal friend of Quilliam for a long time, and we know that in Manchester there was despite they were not as organized as Liverpool, there were very wealthy Muslim diaspora who were mainly consisted by Syrians and by Syrian merchants and Moroccan merchants, and they were around 50 as a population. And we know that Quilliam has kept with them a close relationship. Whenever they have a funeral or janaza, they were coming to Quilliam to Liverpool, or whenever they want to get married, they were coming to Liverpool Mosque to officiate their marriage. But this relationship wasn't close as Liverpool consuls. So Lastly, I just want to tell about the termination of the pragmatic relationship between the Liverpool consuls and between the Ottoman consuls and Abdullah Quilliam. So basically, in 1908 was turning point for Abdullah Quilliam because he lost his main benefactor, who was Ottoman Sultan. The Ottoman Sultan, as a result of a military coup, he was taken. He was replaced, and after his disarmament, we can see that Quilliam, for a couple of years, he stayed in Istanbul, and we know that Liverpool Muslim Institute was disbanded as an institution, and the community was dispersed. So after losing the main benefactor, we know that the Ottoman consuls were not interested anymore with the Liverpool Muslims, and they were mainly start to focus about the commercial interests. And Ahmed Quilliam's son, he also was dismissed from his position in the Ottoman consulate. And this was the situation. By 1909, we don't see any recourse that has been written by the Ottoman consuls regarding to the Quilliam family. As a conclusion, there are three main points that I want to mention about and re-emphasize. The Ottoman consuls, generally, I have looked all the reports. Generally, I can say that their opinion regarding to Quilliam was fairly negative, and they didn't, despite they knew that Abdul Hamid II was using the Liverpool Muslim Institute as a political tool. They were not thinking that it's that appropriate or that necessary tool, and they do not think that Quilliam was that well known by the British public. And they accuse him as a hypocrite. Generally, they have accused him as a hypocrite, and they were thinking that the Liverpool mosque was nothing except as a mosque, was looking like everything but except a mosque. And also we can say that in the beginning stage, the consuls were the intermediaries between the Istanbul and between the Quilliam. So they were like a gateway keepers. But by the time progress, Quilliam has increased his power and showed the Ottoman Sultan that he's a useful ally. So he had the opportunity to directly communicate with the Sultan himself. Last but not the least, we can say that generally speaking, the Ottomans, the Abdullah Quilliam had provided the Ottomans in terms of visibility. So during his time, we can see that he wrote in favor of the Ottomans in the press, and there are too many newspaper articles that he defend the Ottoman interests. So that's all that I want to tell you. Thank you so much for listening to me and allocating your valuable time. Thanks all, and wish you all the best.
Thank you. Do you want to close? Okay. All right. Thank you, Hassan. That was a fascinating talk. Really interesting stories about the link between the Ottomans and the Liverpool Muslims. So, as part of our tradition, we don't record the question and answer sessions. So I'll close this, and then we will have the question and answer session, so that it's not recorded. And then, of course, I'll upload this video on YouTube. So So thank you. Officially, I want to thank you for your talk, and thank you all for participating.
No worries.